Hey, good people. Welcome to Happy Lies and Sad Truth, sponsored by Big on Successful Stuff Clothing. If it ain't ice white, it ain't right. And sponsored by Dr. Green's Holistic and Wellness. Anyway, welcome back to Happy Lies, Sad Truth, where the real gets separated from the fake. The games get untangled, and the lessons don't come free, but they do come raw. Today, we tapping in with some serious knowledge straight from my Uncle Big Bill, a real Mac from out of Southern California. And trust me, this ain't for everybody. Matter of fact, some of y'all might want to tune off right now. Cause see, this game is deep and we don't want to confuse you. Cause if you ain't ready, this ain't for you. And it ain't gonna make any sense anyway. I'm making this one because it touched home with me with my son and this pimping and macking stuff that they got going on. These kids, they just out here doing something and they don't know the consequences of it and they don't listen. But for those of y'all that's ready, let's talk about the difference between macking and stacking and pimping and hoeing. Because it's a big difference. So, you have to understand that it's easy. Like macking, pimping is like a easy way, like a shortcut for macking. But understand, if you can do it that way, you can do it this way. You understand? I'm not gonna give up a lot of game because we don't want people to know how it really well. We don't want Max game out there how they operate so they can be in a fucked up situation like how pimps be when they girls fag off. You know. So like a happy lie and macking. It's all the same game. Macking, pimping, whatever you call it. But the sad truth is, nah, there's a big difference. And the biggest one is you don't get a life sentence for macking and stacking. Pimping and paneling been holding a life sentence for years. That's why most of them pimps, what they do, they take a deal 5 to 10, depending on what they've done. If they got a juvenile, it might take 5 to 7 years. And that's one thing that Mackin don't do. Mackin don't do children at all, period. And Mackin is none of that. You know what I mean? And in actuality, it's a wide scale of information that goes into it, but I can't give out that information over this podcast. See, the streets confuse this because everybody want to use the same language, but definitions matter. A Mac is about building. A pimp, he's about controlling. A Mac sets a play. A pimp enforces a play. If you understand the difference of those. And like I said, a lot of this you're gonna have to be able to read between the lines on because I can't give you exposed game. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to hopefully catch some of these young cats that's out here doing it and be able to give them enough game where they don't wind up with a life sentence or 5 or 10 years because I don't know why ain't none of these old players telling them this. Like they out here letting them run wild, and that's like I don't know. It's a cold game, but I know game is to be sold, not told, and a lot of people don't like to invest in themselves. But a Mac has to lay a Mac never has to lay up with a hoe. His whore is always on point for that, and it's a difference between a hoe and a whore. But we'll get into that. He don't have to put his hands on the hoe. In fact, the only time a hoe is in his presence is as a reward for great work, or if he sees potential for her to become a whore. You know what I mean? Because a lot of whores used to be hoes. You know what I mean? But that's where the real distinction comes in. A hoe would never get direct instructions from a Mac. But this is a part of the game I can't reveal as well. So let's go on. I'm like I said, I'm not gonna expose no game so the enemy can, tap in and be like, oh, this how they do it, because apparently it's been working for hundreds and hundreds of years. Now, pimp, he's different, man. A pimp gonna fuck on this hoe. He gonna slap her when she get out of line. He operates from discipline, but a Mac operates from influence. And if a hoe get out of pocket, she ain't getting slapped. She getting dismissed. Period. Ain't no if and she's out of there. You know what I mean? She ain't gonna simple, but But again, the Mac doesn't play that role either. You know what I mean? But of course, I can't give you that game. But the Mac don't play that role. That's for the you know, that's another part of the game. I can't reveal. You know what I mean? I mean, because like I said, I can't reveal this stuff because, like I said, as far as Mackin is concerned, it's a part of their game plan. And apparently, it been working. Like my uncle Big Bill, he ain't never spent a day in jail. You understand me? Never, ever, prison, none of that behind this game. So if you've been caught up in that, then that means you know what side of the fence you fall on. You know what I'm saying? And you ask why. Well, the game is to be sold, not told, man. We don't want to give the enemies this information, man. It's just that simple. I'm giving this little bit of game for free to the youngsters so they don't find themselves doing life or taking a deal for 5 to 10 because some female fagged off. Once again, I keep repeating that because I want you to understand why I'm even making this podcast. You know, this episode. Because in actuality, man, I would think like the older players that's out there doing this game will tell the ones, at least the ones they like, because I know a lot of these youngsters don't like to listen. But at the same token, man, the system is tearing their ass down. You know what I mean? Giving them 18 years, 5 years, life sentences for simple shit. And really, especially in Las Vegas, it's cold because it's a hearsay state. So a female can just fag off and say that you like guilty until proven innocent. And if you black and you got a white girl that's getting on the stand pointing their finger at you, 97.9% your ass is out of there. You know what I'm saying? But like mackin and stackin, like the Mac is like the financial advisor of the game. You know what I mean? Let's put it in terms y'all can digest. A Mac is more of a financial advisor. He's not here micromanaging. He's not barking orders, but everything still moves under his instructions. Just never direct instructions. That's the real game, man. But of course, some things I ain't gonna say on here, but that's the real game, man. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's like pimping is more of a shortcut in the Mackin because all you gotta do is fuck on the have sex with a female and then game her up. But if your game is that strong, you can start off like that without never sticking your penis inside of her, man. You know what I mean? That's the game. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's the easy route in because once you mesmerize her with the sex toy, you understand me, then you spit your game. But if your game is that strong, you can still do it. And it's worth not getting a life sentence. But like I said, we're not gonna go deep into it. You know what I mean? Because the truth is, this knowledge ain't free. You know what I'm saying? This right here is just a teaser. You know what I mean? But if you want to understand how Mac moves without giving direct orders, but still having everything fall in line, I'll drop a message in this somewhere where you can contact me privately, and we can discuss it. You know what I mean? But I give some of these youngsters the game, man. But it's not for free. You got to invest in yourself, man. Period. This game is really to be sold, not told. And the reason why is not because I'm somebody trying to get paid off of you. It's because if you invest in yourself, if you invest that money into yourself, I know you're going to take what I'm telling you and utilize it. I ain't just wasting my time because if I gave it to you for free, it's just going to go in one ear out the other. You know what I mean? But if you pay for it, you definitely going to put it to use if you intelligent. And if you in this game 99.8% of the time, you're very intelligent, very sharp individual. You know what I mean? So, see, like a Mac and his whore, yeah, WHORE, they inseparable. That's what makes the game different. A real Mac don't need a stable of 10. He don't even need 5. Hell, shit, he don't even need 3 because a real whore makes it happen, man. She understands the mission without being told. She operates with precision. You know what I'm talking about? She ain't out here waiting for instructions. She already know what to do. You know what I mean? She already know the assignment. It's already in her brain. She get up in the morning and get busy. Period. He ain't gotta, he ain't gotta tell you because, like I said, once again, a Mac is more like a financial advisor, man. You know what I'm saying? Advising on how you should, how you can make some paper and what you should do with your paper and how you, depending on how you want to live. If you want to live this way, you want to put your money in this, and this, and get it done like this so you can have this amount of money when the time comes for you to, finagle. But like I said, it's a whole lot of other stuff to this, but this is just a short, brief, to the point, about the basics, man. You know what I mean? To keep y'all ass out of prison, man. Now, Mac might have two, but that's rare. You know what I mean? Why? Because a real whore covers all bases, man. It's quality over quantity. A pimp, he needs multiple hoes because he's moving from a numbers game. It's called cop and blow in the pimping and hoeing. You know what I mean? But a Mac, he moving with strategy. You know what I mean? He moving with strategy, man. It's not no, we ain't bullshit. We don't need, But like I said, it's levels to it that I'm not telling you, but because I can't expose the game like that. But like I said, it's a complete difference, man. You know what I mean? So, but let's get one thing straight. There's a difference between a whore and a hoe. There's a big difference, but that's for part two. You're gonna want to tune in to that. That's next week, next Thursday at 8. Yeah, we're gonna discuss that. The difference between a whore and a hoe. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna give a few segments on this just so I can make sure that I did my part with helping these youngsters. Because real business, that's why I'm doing it, because it touched home. Like my son going through this situation right now because he didn't listen. Now he contacted me. Well, he was contacting me like I should have listened and but it's too late for that now. Now the people in your business, and ain't no telling what they're gonna do. But it's all bad. It ain't good. And he got about 4 or 5 partners that's doing like 15 years, 18 years. And these is youngsters. They went to jail when they was 18, 19, man. You know what I mean? But that's what happens when you don't listen. I've been telling y'all, this shit hold a life sentence, man. But let's recap. A Mac is about financial elevation. He's guiding, not controlling. A pimp is about control. He's enforcing, laying down rules to a hoe. A Mac never, ever sleeps with his hoes. That ain't part of the game, man. Pimps is usually in the mix with his hoes. You know what I mean? Usually, 90, especially today. Now I do know 2 young players that's doing their thing. One in Houston and one in Las Vegas. They on their game, but they still fucking on their girls and all that other good stuff. But they got the shit down pat. Now a Mac lets a hoe go when she steps out of line. There's no abuse, just a dismissal. A pimp uses correction, often force, might slap her or, kick her in her butt, verbal abuse. A Mac operates through influence and instruction, detailed through a third party. But make no mistake, everything still moves under his direction. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's another one of them situations where I'm not going to expose no game. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm gonna put my email in here. So if one of you youngsters see this and y'all want to communicate, man, just tap in. And like I said, I'm not giving you the game for free, man, because this game is to be sold, not told, man. But I ain't gonna go in your pockets like that. But you gotta come out the pockets a little bit for me to give you this game, man. And the change that you gonna spend is gonna be well worth than doing 5 to 10. Real business. If you're trying to be in the game, you need to understand these distinctions, man, or else the game gonna play you. Period. And like I said, once again, I don't know why these old players ain't out here teaching y'all young cats this game, man. You know what I mean? But like I do know, because y'all ain't willing to invest in yourself. Because the real player know they gonna charge you, man. The game is to be sold, not told, man. Ask them old players, you see them out there, man. You know what I mean? But that's it for today's episode. But trust me, you don't want to miss part 2, man, because that's where we're gonna break down the difference between a whore and a hoe. And that might just change the way you look at everything. You know what I mean? So, but remember, man, if you even if y'all don't tap in with me, Tap in with one of them old players you see out there doing what you doing, man, and get you some game, man. But you got to slide them some bread, man. Just talking to them, they not finna give you that game, man, because they know they understand the concept, man. This game is to be sold, not told. Real business. But until then, man, keep your mind sharp, your hustle sharper, and most of all, know the difference between a game and a gimmick. You know what I mean? And don't get yourself caught up out here, man, in these systems, not knowing what you're doing, man. Before you jump into any hustle, man, you need to know the consequences, man, because they're dire, especially with this. All this takes is for a female to get mad at you, man, and go tell the police she been selling her body and giving you the proceeds. And they're coming to get you, especially in Las Vegas, because it's a hearsay state. So you got to understand, man, y'all got to be careful out here and know what y'all doing. But at any rate, man, you've been listening to Happy Lies, Sad Truth. If you got valuable information today, make sure you tap in, spread the knowledge. And if you really want to understand the deeper game, well, you know what to do. See y'all next time, man.